Good evening, EnCompass Academy parents and guardians. Welcome to our back in school night. My name is Ming Jum Nguyen. Since our opening in 2004, I've been privileged to serve as the school's founding principal. It is an honor to be trusted with your beloved children. This evening, after my presentation, your classroom teachers will share their expectations, learning goals for the grade, their weekly schedules, and a little bit of information about themselves. You'll also have a chance to learn about special programs and opportunities provided to your child at our school and in the classroom. Our school vision from our school's founding from 2004 continues to live throughout our campus in the way that you look at the visual landscape of our building inside and out, but in the way that we ask our students and faculty and staff to hold themselves in service of our children and families. I want to share with you a couple of school program updates in terms of how we want to live out the whole child vision. One of the ways that you will know if your child is moving towards college and career readiness is by a reading level called Lexile. The target of a college reading level is a score of 1300. We do have children in the elementary level who do reach 1300, and that's your guiding light. That's about an 11th grade reading level. We focus on fiction and nonfiction text. The text comes by way of what's in front of them in terms of textbooks, but also in terms of our blended learning online programs such as Achieve 3000 and Reading A to Z. These programs are leveled at your child's reading level. As you know, our teachers have been working diligently in the beginning of the year to do reading assessments with children, and from that they know what level our children need to be to get the type of instruction that is just at their zone of proximal development, which is it means it's just at their level of stretch, so that it's not too hard, that it's frustrating, and it's not so easy that they're not growing. And you'll see this practice in classrooms during the reading block, under guided reading, under reader's workshop, and then it will also be connected to the writing, because reading and writing is so intricately connected through writer's workshop. So you want to make sure that you ask your teachers for writing samples of what grade level writer under the Common Core should be producing, and then you could look at your child's reading and writing sample in the beginning of the year and as they move throughout the school year. To support our math program under the Common Core, we also have two programs online. One is called ST Math. You may hear your children talking about trying to get Gigi the penguin crossing the screen. And ST Math provides a series of games that your children are able to solve without needing to speak English or to read, and are operating at such a higher level of thinking to use conceptual problem-solving skills, which is really required for the more rigorous math under the Common Core. If your child is still learning basic math facts, there's a program called Extra Math that we really use at school, and you should use at home, to help make sure that children master math facts in 3 seconds or less. Math instruction that's going on in your child's classroom would really emphasize more what we call number talks or dot talks, which is really talking about how they're going about problem solving in math and explaining their thinking to each other. It's not math the way that we grew up learning, and it's not math about just solving multi-digit operations. The kids need to be able to apply all of their math knowledge in terms of what they call a series of tasks that will take them, 3 or 4 steps. And in order to be prepared for college and career, that means the tests are harder. And so if your children are not doing as well as you are used to them doing in previous math tests, take this as an opportunity to know that this is in preparation for their college and career success. It does not mean that your child has regressed or that your teacher is not a strong teacher, but that we all need to step up our expectations and our approach to teaching and learning so that our children will be ready for college. We also make sure that our children have many opportunities to develop their social and emotional learning skills. We do this in a couple of ways in a comprehensive approach. One, the responsive classroom approach builds upon mutual ownership of your learning environment, developing empathy, using we call logical rules and consequences so that children understand and own their actions in service of their community. A physical education program will help our children to both develop their presence and their attention and focus on their overall wellness, but the direct feed is in service of their academic concentration. The Toolbox project, which you will see teachers and staff walking around with these cards that range from the listening tool to the courage tool to the breathing tool. They're wonderful, powerful tools that our children could use to remind themselves, if I'm not having an appropriate response, which of these tools would serve me to be able to stay on track, be courageous, make apologies, provide forgiveness if needed, and not get caught up on the things that would distract me from my focus of learning. A tardy means that your child has not lined up with their class at 8:45. They must go directly to the office. Another way that we can help our children be safe is that families drop their children off for breakfast, but do not sit in the cafeteria with them for the meal unless they have provided evidence that they've been cleared for their TB test and can be a volunteer in the cafeteria. Children who have home lunch brought should be packed with them to bring to school for that day, and not their lunch room activity should not be interrupted with parents bringing their lunch in the middle of their lunchtime progress. Please do not play in the playground after school, since our after-school programs are using the play structures, and we want to make sure that children do not have to contend with different adults that we do not know as staff, so that all children in our program are safe and protected. There are a couple of forms in the beginning of the year that we need you to review closely and sign and return to your child's teacher. One is the attendance expectations, which summarizes the school policy for attendance. We want to make sure that you know what's expected and the kinds of support that is offered. There's also the Student Family School Compact that you need to please review and sign and discuss with your child. Tonight you will have the wonderful opportunity to hear the presentations from your classroom teachers, meet some new parents hopefully, and be able to contribute to the EnCompass way by building relationships with people who you normally wouldn't necessarily get to talk to. Something that we are deeply committed to is that we are a school in service of all children. Children with special needs, children who speak English or language other than English. We serve children of all racial and ethnic backgrounds, and we do not in any way, shape, or form support language or practices that keep our children in fear of one another based upon their language, culture, or background. The unfortunate conversation in the national politics right now comes from lived experiences of our families, such as the conversation around police brutality and the movement for Black Lives Matter, which is surfacing the historical pieces of inequity that needs to stop, that directly impact our children and their families, the troubling conversation about our Latino families, and the negative stereotypes that are being perpetuated are not going to be tolerated at EnCompass. We are a community that is in service of unity, and we are a community that's in service of building a compassionate and caring culture for one another. We are not perfect, but in order to move forward together, we respectfully ask your families to have conversations about these important matters and to help your children understand that the messages from the media are not messages that they need to believe about themselves, and that we are here to help you think through ways to discuss positive ways for your children to learn to love themselves so that they can be productive members in our society, and they can be not only successful in college but in their career and beyond. Thank you again for coming out this evening. We hope that you've learned a lot, made some new relationships, and feel equipped to move in partnership with our school to help your child have a successful and accomplished school year.